Congratulations, and you're going to the final.
Oh my God.
Burlington's own Victoria Mboko extends her remarkable run, overcoming injury, advancing to the final at the National Bank Open. Good afternoon. The magical run continues. This 18-year-old tennis phenom heads back to the court tonight, facing former world #1 Naomi Osaka. CTV's Janice Golding joins us live from Ireland Park in Burlington with more. Janice.
Hi, Michelle. Yes, it is a very exciting time for Canadian tennis fans. Victoria Mboko pulling off a nail-biting comeback to make it to the finals at the National Bank Opens tonight. Now, Canada's newest tennis star played the longest game of her career yesterday in a 2-hour, 46-minute tie-breaking match against the 9th-seeded Elena Rybakina. A thrilling semi-final match many called must-see TV, especially given Mboko had to overcome a first-set loss and an injured wrist. This moves the 18-year-old up to at least 34th in the world rankings after she began the year outside the top 300. And yesterday's victory means Mboko will next play four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka of Japan in tonight's final. Mboko told reporters in Montreal that nothing would have ever prepared her to be in the final, and that had anyone told her she was going to be in the final, she wouldn't have believed it last year. But the Burlington teen has had a meteoric rise in the sport, with yesterday's win continuing her remarkable streak. Here's more from fans here in Burlington as well as the tournament's director.
This is one of the greatest moments for tennis in Canada, rivaling 2019 when Bianca won our tournament in Toronto. Vicky's a different player, an amazing, outstanding player, and the key to her is I think it's sustainable, that she's going to have a really long career.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I guess on the women's side, we had Andreescu was the one that she won the U.S. Open, right? So it's great to have another Canadian doing so well.
Having a professional tennis player here in our town is great. So we feel really happy and proud.
So again, tonight's final starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can bet there are going to be a lot of people here in Burlington rooting for her. Reporting live, Janice Golding. Now back to Michelle.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Janice. And still ahead on CTV News at noon, Hamilton honors a hometown hero. It is a day to celebrate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and his impressive NBA season. We'll have more on what the city of Hamilton is giving him coming up a little later in the newscast. But first, outside we go for a live look at your Thursday afternoon conditions. And we are on a run of sun, nothing in the way of wet weather, taking us right into another summer weekend, a few days away. Let's bring in Jessica Smith with a look at the current conditions. I see some smoke behind you, and it is sort of impeding our view. We should have blue sky right now.
We should, right? But we're still dealing with that wildfire smoke. And although there aren't any alerts in place right now, it doesn't mean we're not still contending with some challenging air quality. So just be careful spending time outside, whether you work outside or you have kiddos who are at camp. But again, something we're going to still have to deal with right through to the end of the week. We get a little bit of a break throughout the weekend, but we're not done with it just yet. And what we're dealing with right now pushes its way into southern portions of Quebec and a good portion of Atlantic Canada. Now, for us here in the GTA, not much in the way of active weather. We are looking at the potential of maybe a pop-up shower, but I don't know if that comes to fruition late in the day tomorrow. We'll watch that one closely. Temperature-wise, we're in the mid-20s. It's comfortable right now, but it gets so much warmer as we head into the next few days. Through the islands and through Pearson, between 24 and 25, feeling into the 30s. This afternoon, bang on for seasonal at 27, but it's still going to feel into the 30s. That southerly wind helping to really warm things up. And by the time we get to the weekend, we're likely into heat warning criteria, but we'll watch for that closely. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast. We'll look at that weekend because we're all eyes on the weekend as we head throughout the month of August. So right now, I'll send things back over to Michelle.
Thank you, Jess. Turning now to a major break in a homicide investigation. Police announcing today they have made an arrest in the death of an international student who was struck by a stray bullet in Hamilton back in April. Our John Musselman is live in Hamilton this afternoon with the latest. John, this is a heartbreaking story. Give us the big development here.
Well, it was a devastating situation, just an innocent victim at a bus stop. But we can tell you, Michelle, that one man has been arrested and charged with murder, and police say they're working on it to identify at least 6 more suspects.
21-year-old Hizrimat Randawa was waiting for a bus in Hamilton when she was killed by a stray bullet last April. Investigators say it happened during an exchange of gunfire between two groups right across the street. The scene is at Upper James Street and South Bend Road. Today, Hamilton police announced an arrest in this case. 32-year-old Jerdane Foster of Niagara Falls has been charged with first-degree murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. Investigators say they are looking for more suspects.
Investigators know that there's at least 7 people that were involved in this argument, in this dispute, that has resulted in Hizrimat's death.
Randawa was an international student from India who attended Mohawk College. She was hit in the chest by the bullet. She was rushed to a hospital, but she did not survive. A vigil was held on campus in her memory a short time after the murder. Police are saying very little about the motive. They are working to identify the other suspects involved in this homicide.
And investigators say the accused man in this case has ties to Hamilton, Niagara Falls area, and Halton region. And they're asking anyone who may have any information about this case to contact Hamilton Police or Crime Stoppers. Reporting live in Hamilton, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Police are investigating shots fired in Etobicoke overnight. The gunfire erupting around 2:30 a.m. in the area of Humber Boulevard and Alliance Avenue. Police say a caller reported their home was struck by bullets. Multiple shell casings were found on the ground. No injuries have been reported, and there is no suspect information at this stage, but the investigation is ongoing. A teenage boy is seriously injured after a shooting in Scarborough. This happened around 4 yesterday afternoon near Warden and Lawrence. Police say the 14-year-old boarded a TTC bus at the intersection and got into an altercation with 2 other male passengers. When he stepped off the bus, investigators say 2 people followed him, firing shots that struck him in the leg. The boy is in hospital, and police say he is expected to survive. Anyone who might have any information is asked to come forward. Only minor injuries reported after a crash involving a freight train and a vehicle in Brampton. This happened around 9:30 last night at a crossing on Mississauga Road just north of Beauvais. A vehicle with significant front-end damage had to be towed from the scene. According to Peel paramedics, 3 people were taken to hospital, but all are going to be okay. A motorcyclist is in hospital after a crash in Port Credit. An SUV's rear window was shattered in the collision at Lakeshore Boulevard and Seneca Avenue just before 9 last night. Peel paramedics say a man is in serious condition. Another person was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The individual wanted in connection with an ongoing death and arson investigation in Bracebridge has been confirmed dead. Autopsy results show 29-year-old Mitchell Gray of Bracebridge, who was wanted for murder, is now said to have died from smoke inhalation. This is in connection with the incident that took place on August 1st, where OPP responded to reports of gunfire at a residence on Beatrice Town Line Road. Police confirmed the 2 deceased that were located at the property that was in flames was a 60-year-old male and a 59-year-old woman who both died from gunshot wounds. Toronto youth leaders gathered today, renewing their call for city and business leaders to support a job creation push for younger residents.
The need for such a Toronto youth employment program has been a growing concern among the youth in our city for many years. Throughout my involvement with this campaign, I have had the opportunity to engage with young people across the city on their experiences with employment. We collected thousands of postcards, each detailing a young person's challenges and barriers towards employment, but also their hopes and dreams.
Among the personal experiences shared in the postcard campaign, several outlined the challenges they've faced in securing a job, with many applications sent and few responses received. Advocates say youth employment is key to addressing several other challenges our city is facing.
We've seen how the relationship between the spike in youth gun violence and the lack of employment. Employment provides belonging, it provides meaning, it provides purpose. Just yesterday in Scarborough, not too far from my ward, a 14-year-old was involved in the shooting that shut down a busy Lawrence Avenue at the height of rush hour. We've seen this time and time again.
Young people want to work, And employers across the city need talent. When we connect those two things, the whole city benefits. And without a deliberate workforce development strategy, we risk a generation of lost opportunities. Graduates will step into a market they're not prepared for, roles will take longer to fill, and every sector will suffer.
Supporters are hoping the findings of this postcard campaign will encourage the city to support the creation of 10,000 additional youth jobs by next year. There could be significant turbulence ahead for thousands of Air Canada passengers. The union representing the airline's flight attendants has a mandate to call a strike if a new contract isn't negotiated in 10 days. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
Mike Abraham has booked a flight to Slovenia for a bike tour. He's scheduled to take off just as Air Canada's flight attendants are poised to strike.
Even if I was to actually try to rebook it now with either with Air Canada or with a competitor, say a European airline, the price would be at least 3 times as much.
Air Canada's 10-year contract with its 10,000 flight attendants is expiring. The union representing the workers says better wages and working conditions are needed. Flight attendants average 35 hours of unpaid work each month.
We're not paid anytime the aircraft is not in motion. So any of the pre-flight checks, mandatory safety briefings, all the required stuff that is done on the ground prior to pushback, as well as the deplaning process.
The workers are getting support from the Conservatives, urging the government to amend the Labour Code to ensure flight attendants are paid for every minute they're required to be at work from check-in to sign-off. Last year, Air Canada generated operating revenues of more than $22 billion. Thousands of passengers could be impacted if a deal is not reached by August 16th.
This will be a test for the Carney government to see whether they have the intestinal fortitude to let labor relations work its way through this process.
Even though Abraham has been planning his trip for months, he doesn't support government intervention, but does support fair wages for workers.
Being paid for your hours on the job, that I think is a no-brainer. I can't possibly understand why a company wouldn't do that.
In a previous statement, Air Canada said it was committed to reaching a fair and equitable contract with its flight attendants. Both sides returned to the bargaining table on Friday. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A move by Canada Post has some small-town customers upset. Some Ontario residents say they have been told the flag on their mailbox will no longer be raised by carriers to signal a new delivery. CTV's Katie Griffin has more on the practice that has been in place for decades.
The postman comes, puts the mail inside, closes the door, and brings this up.
For many, that's the way it's been in rural areas for years. Not anymore.
Whether it's to save time or money, I'm not sure, but it's not doing the workers nor the corporation any good.
David Carrier received a letter from Canada Post indicating delivery agents would no longer raise the flag on mailboxes when mail is delivered.
And it seems a little bit odd that given it a time when Canada Post is struggling to survive and wanting large raises and wanting to gain more of the market share, that they're going to offer less service and less convenience to the public when they deliver their mail.
A resident in Somerstown near Cornwall received this handwritten note from a carrier saying they were no longer allowed to raise the flag. So sorry, please check box regularly.
In a letter to rural customers, Canada Post said after a review it was determined that the purpose of the signal device was for the customer to indicate to the delivery agent that there was outgoing mail.
Canada Post writes in a statement that the flag is not meant to inform customers mail is in the mailbox. It acknowledged some do it as a courtesy, but that it is not a national delivery process. For Carrier, it doesn't make sense.
I've spent my whole life living rurally, and I don't know of very many people who put mail outgoing and use that indicator. But a lot of people here have a half-a-mile laneway, and they look out, they don't see a flag, they don't go out. If they see the flag, they go out. So a lot of these people are older, and it takes some effort to go out and get that mail.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
To the latest now on the wildfires, and a request by Newfoundland and Labrador for military assistance has now been granted.
Canadian Armed Forces will now be deploying a reconnaissance element to assist
and assess the wildfire situation to determine how the armed forces can best support our requirements right now. And based on the current need and capacity, the Canadian Armed Forces will be providing personnel to assist with planning and coordination, personnel to assist ongoing firefighter efforts with firefighters as needed, transportation of essential goods and personnel, and logistical support.
There are 3 out-of-control fires. One on the western side of Conception Bay has grown to 21 square kilometers. Hundreds of people from several communities in that province have been forced to evacuate their homes and businesses. An unknown number of structures have been destroyed. Across the country in BC, about 120 wildfires are burning. Some evacuees on Vancouver Island, however, are now allowed to return home. As of midnight last night, goods from more than 60 countries and European unions are being hit with U.S. tariffs of 10% or higher. American tariffs are now at a level not seen there in almost a century. U.S. President Donald Trump celebrated by saying that tariffs are flowing into the U.S. at levels not thought even possible. His administration says it expects upwards of $50 billion a month in revenues as the higher levies kick in. Trump escalated the trade war last week by hitting Canada with a baseline 35% tariff that applies only to goods not covered by the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement on trade. On CNN this morning, Ontario's premier reminded Americans that they are also being affected.
As I've said on this show many times, that a tariff on Canada is a tax on the American people. And as you've seen, the study from Yale, it's going to cost Americans $2,400. Manufacturing employment in the U.S., there's over 37,000 people since April have lost their jobs. It's the lowest rate in 5 years, and it's just not working.
Doug Ford has warned Trump could reopen the CUSMA trade pact in the fall before next year's scheduled review, and the premier says Ottawa needs to be ready for that. Meanwhile, in Calgary today, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre unveiled a plan to decrease Canada's reliance on the United States.
We need to get building now, and that's why the Conservative proposal for a Sovereignty Act will take action immediately. In this fall, we will introduce a motion calling on the government to put forward this legislation. The Sovereignty Act will legalize pipeline and other major projects by repealing the anti-development law C-69. It will legalize shipping Canadian energy off the northwest coast of BC by repealing C-48. It will axe the industrial carbon tax, something the Europeans are doing, and given that our competitors in America have no industrial carbon tax, it is untenable to force our people and our industries to pay this tax. We will get rid of the oil and gas cap that kills jobs. We will get rid of the ban on plastics, the petrochemical industry that produces our plastics. The plastics themselves are essential, and so are the jobs that go along with it.
Poilievre wants the federal government to take urgent action against the U.S. tariffs. He criticized the Liberals for failing to reach a deal with the Americans, saying that tariffs continue to hurt Canadians. And the trade war with the U.S. has increased tensions along our southern border. But 2 towns, one in New Brunswick, the other in Maine, are hugging it out, carrying on a summertime tradition during these trying times. CTV's Nick Moore has that story.
The Canadians came from their side, the Americans from their side, meeting in the middle to sing their national anthems, shake hands, and then mingle.
This has been a long tradition.
There was a lot of hugging, too. We Hug It Out is actually the theme for this year's International Homecoming Festival between St. Stephen, New Brunswick and Calais, Maine, leaning into these interesting times.
And it's just good to get back and understand that we are one community, and it's good to see that we are one community.
We have a lot of family on both sides, and to have us all together, it's just heartwarming.
The meet and greet on the Ferry Point International Bridge has kicked off this festival since 1974, and organizers weren't quite sure what to expect for 2025 given the trade war.
To have people come out from both sides of the border to celebrate this occasion, especially this year, I just think there was a lot of questions how things would go, but I'm just so pleased.
It's certainly a nice salve to some of the frustrations and challenges we've been feeling.
New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt and Maine State Representative Arthur Mingo were some of the dignitaries who took part.
These are 2 communities that we need to make sure that the friendship stays in place
no matter what's happening in other parts of the world.
It's just nostalgia. It's something I've always known and something I hope keeps going.
It's great to see people of all ages, and just seeing us all get along is amazing.
It's a really fantastic event for everybody in the community.
The International Homecoming Festival continues until Sunday night with fireworks over the St. Croix River. Nick Moore, CTV News, on the border of Calais, Maine, St. Stephen, New Brunswick.
Well, it is Shai Day in Hamilton. The city is honoring hometown hero Shai Gilgeous-Alexander today to mark his incredible NBA season. The Oklahoma City Thunder star won the NBA championship, the Finals MVP, the regular season MVP, and the league scoring title. A free public rally is going to take place this afternoon at 3 p.m. at Hamilton Stadium. Mayor Andrea Horvath will bestow Gilgeous-Alexander with the key to the city. And with more, we're joined by Rowan Barrett, General Manager and Executive Vice President of Men's High Performance for Canada Basketball. Rowan, great to have you with us. Of course, he's getting the key to the city. He's been such an amazing success. And you are a pillar in Canadian basketball, former Olympic captain and pro. So what does it mean for you to see SGA succeed to the level that he has and have him be honored in this way?
No, I think that for any of us that have played and have represented this country, you understand what that feels like. But to do it at the level that he's doing it is something new. It's something new for all of us. When you start thinking that there's hundreds of millions of people playing basketball in the world, it's a game with low barriers to entry. And he comes out of Hamilton, and he's now standing literally and figuratively on top of the basketball world. I think it doesn't matter whether you played or didn't play, what the sport is. As a Canadian, it has to be something that signifies tremendous pride, for all of us as Canadians.
And you no doubt have incredible insight into how this is happening. You've been at the forefront of the evolution of basketball in this country. What do you think sets SGA apart? How do we get here?
Wow, there's so many things. I mean, he's got talent, right? But he works as someone that doesn't have any talent. He's constantly focused on the process of becoming. His work ethic is legendary. He's in our training center every single summer, adding one more thing to his game and another thing to his game. If you look at his NBA progression, you see improvement every single year. Whether it's points per game, whether it's his efficiency, whether it's the wins of the teams that he's playing on, you just see better. This is the type of guy, he knows that if he has to be asleep at 10 p.m., he's not taking a FaceTime call at 9:45. He's just this way, very disciplined, very focused, constantly becoming, and then he's humble. He's humble, he's easy to play with. You'd never know that this guy's a superstar, right? If you stood in his midst and spoke to him. Regular guy, much like my good friend Steve Nash. Regular guys that love people. This is an icon, and he's not going anywhere. Canadians should get very used to seeing this. I would expect to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander one day receive the Order of Canada. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I believe, will go down as one of the top Canadians to ever walk this land.
Wow. And Rowan, I'm struck by how young he is and all he's been able to do at this point, but also being a player and performing on the court is one thing, but also what's done off the court. And already it's been quite incredible to see him talking to fans and making an effort in the community. He was at Sick Kids Hospital. That's pretty special too.
Oh yes, he's been running his camps for multiple years in Hamilton. This is someone, you go to an NBA game and you watch the athletes. He's the only superstar I know that takes his time and literally will walk all around the stadium and sign autographs and give pictures. Maybe initially after your first couple, 1-2 years, you're used to it. Oh, this is amazing. But when you're constantly getting pulled at from people, to consistently make that time and effort, clearly it's something he's decided he wants to do. It's difficult for him to go outside now, right? He has to have bodyguards with him. His life has completely changed. He can't go anywhere, but yet still in a controlled environment. He's taking his time. He wants to be with the people. He doesn't want to be separate from them. Just a tremendous character. What you're seeing on the floor is matched by what you see in his character off the floor.
Real quick before we let you go, I mean, you've got an equally impressive son, RJ Barrett, and with RJ and SJ being on Team Canada, what's that dynamic like?
You know, it's amazing. I mean, the two of them, we brought them up to play on our senior team when Shai was 18 and RJ was 16. You know, we could see what was coming. And so we put them up there with the men so they could be challenged and they could see eventually what it would look like. And so those two were together like brothers, going to the gym, unbeknownst to us, sneaking into the gym to work. You know, these two are, you know, like brothers in some sense that way, playing for Canada. And you know what, we're proud. We're proud of them, as we are of so many of our other players, right? That not only have they gone on to international success, but they love their country and they show up for their country. And you know what, in a few days, you know, they will be all here in Canada. You know, when we get to start camp, they'll all be here, you know, supporting the country and trying to move it forward.
What an impressive roster. Rowan Barrett, Canada Basketball. Hey, good work to you, too. This is impressive. It gives me goosebumps. Thank you so much, and can't wait to see what they do next.
Thanks for having me on.
Take care. Jess.
A great day to play basketball outside, but make sure you hydrate. We are still dealing with lots of heat, lots of sun, and haze due to wildfire smoke. So just be careful with any kind of exertion outside. But we are in the midst of our summer break, and it is going to be fantastic. 27, feeling like 33, but that haze is sticking around, and that UV index is very high. So don't let that little bit of haze out there fool you. You still need sun protection. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including even more heat on the way as we get ready to settle into another weekend here in the city. Coming up, your full forecast after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, we are in some hazy days, but really we're getting a serious dose of summer. In July and now into August, we've had so many really sunny days, and the heat's cranking up. It's too bad that haze is kind of raining on our parade here, but I don't know, are we used to it by now?
I feel like kind of, and truly you have to moderate yourself, right? We're spending time outside. If you have breathing challenges or if you have kids at camp, I know a lot of evening sports have been maybe canceled or rescheduled, so just something to keep in mind. It does improve a little heading into the weekend, so I promise I have some good news when it comes to the haze. We might not be done with it entirely, but at least a bit of a break. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers you don't pay unless they win. Now, it's still really hazy out there, but again, if you can get out and enjoy some of this weather, it is a beautiful day, and we are very seasonal today. A nice southerly flow to the wind. Listen, summer is summering. We're into the heat now, and it's only getting warmer as we step in towards the next couple of days. So keep that in mind if you have outdoor plans, cottage, you want to go to the beach, you want to just enjoy some time outside. Hydration, sun protection, and breaks in the shade are key. Taking a look at our temperature map, it is comfortable out there right now. We're at 25, it feels like 30, so we're kind of in that fairly normal range. It's still really warm out through northern Ontario, and that ridge in the jet stream, which kind of separates the colder air to the north, warmer air to the south, very high. So everybody's getting a taste of the heat. Again, the bulk of the wildfire smoke right now in towards the prairies, northern Ontario, but we're seeing it kind of waft down towards us. We do get a bit of a break. It pushes out as we head into your Saturday and Sunday. Unfortunately, moves into areas in southern Quebec and Atlantic Canada. And then we get at least a little bit of a reprieve as we all head in towards next week. Temperature-wise today, sitting at about 27, very seasonal, feeling like 33, so a manageable humidex for most of us as we head across southern Ontario and into this evening, very similar to yesterday, sitting around 20 degrees. So comfortable to get outside, but again, that haze, that smoke is still there. So just check on yourself, check on the people around you when it comes to breathing and being outdoors for extended periods of time. Not much in the way of extreme active weather. We are watching a bit of a trough that will push its way through, dipping down, bringing the chance of a pop-up shower tomorrow afternoon. If it comes to fruition, very brief, and then it's gone as we head into the afternoon and evening. So timing it all out again, very dry as we head throughout the day, start to finish. If you're heading to the weekend concert tonight, I know it's indoors, but if you're waiting outside, just be mindful it is going to be very hot, but you're dry at least for waiting. As we head in towards our Friday morning, again, a pop of showers in towards Owen Sound. We'll see this potentially creep towards us at about 2 o'clock, fast and furious. By 3:30, the bulk of it is gone, and then it's clear into the evening. So Again, if you have evening plans, it won't be an issue. As we head in towards the start of your weekend, lots of sunshine and lots of heat. We are getting into the 30s, and I wouldn't be surprised if heat warnings pop up as we head a little bit closer to the weekend and step into the weekend. Very seasonal, at least for your daytime high. Today feeling like 33. The heat really starts to ramp up as we head into the day tomorrow. So for your Friday, still dealing with some haze out there, but it will start to slowly push out. That 30 will feel a little closer to 36, so that humidity is going to be even greater into the day tomorrow. So check on yourselves. Heat stroke and heat exhaustion can happen very, very quickly. As we step into your Saturday and Sunday, 31, feeling like 37 on Saturday. If you're heading to the Argos game, it's a 3 p.m. game right at the peak of all that heat. Again, be careful. As we head into Sunday, even warmer still, feeling like 38. So yes, it is a beautiful weekend. Get out, enjoy it, but you have to kind of really take your time when it comes to spending time outdoors and thinking about maybe taking a bit of a break here and there. Lots of libraries as an option to go into. You know, grab a book. Why not? As we head in towards next week, staying nice and warm, so the heat, Michelle, not going anywhere. Hopefully this helps everybody plan. I'll send things back over to you.
Sure will. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
City residents are raising a stink over the condition of public bathrooms. Many saying they are just gross, and some feel unsafe. But as CTV's Allison Hurst reports, a Hamilton company has come up with a solution to the potty problem.
At Beach Skate Park, the bathroom option stinks.
It's very dirty, and there's like 47 people here like at least every single week, and there's one porta potty which I don't accept.
Servicing both the skate park and rugby field.
Always smelly. There's always stuff that shouldn't be in porta potties. They're not safe. They're not clean.
Jake Porchenko, a camp counselor with Impact Skate Park that frequents this park, says they often call the city about the state of the toilet.
And kids are like, the porta potty's gross. I'm like, I know, but the closest bathroom is like a 20-minute walk.
A Hamilton architecture firm may have a solution. Their project won the Toronto Toilet Design Challenge put on by the Toronto Public Space Committee to design a new public washroom.
There's like two big things that people think about. One, they're gross, and two, they feel unsafe.
Petra Matar and Aaliyah Reed designed different sized pods with windows and curved corners for safety, a green roof and rainwater collection for sustainability, and the finish is concrete with an epoxy seal and central floor drain for cleaning.
This can work for various applications where it could just be a single washroom on the side of the street, or you could have a cluster that is in a park.
The competition also had an art component.
We thought of this auditory piece. So putting speakers into the roof structure allowed for potentially commissioning local artists, people from the community, to either put in music installations or maybe also create storytelling.
Paris 2024 Olympian Faye DeFazio-Ebert trains at the skate park.
Especially like you're drinking a lot of water, it's hot out, and like a nice bathroom would be amazing.
But she says it's not just a problem here.
Vanderhoof, which also doesn't have any public bathrooms, and a lot of people just go into the bushes or like have to go to like Tim's, which is like kind of hard if you're like really focused on something.
Porchenko says he's been to other countries like Japan and South Korea with ample clean public washrooms.
If other major cities around the world can do that, Toronto can absolutely do that.
The design team has not fleshed out the cost of building their washrooms. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Still ahead, a new deal is in the works for Ontario doctors. The new compensation coming down the pipeline and the potential for it to attract more family physicians. There are signs of optimism. The province and Ontario doctors will soon be able to reach a new compensation deal. The health minister isn't sharing any details, but the Ontario Medical Association is hopeful it could improve access to family doctors in this province. We get more from our health reporter, Pauline Chan.
We've been working on the deal for more than a year with the government to really ensure that every Ontarian has a family doctor.
OMA CEO Kimberly Moran says agreement has been reached on some key issues, particularly the heavy administrative workload carried by comprehensive family care practitioners.
It's grown dramatically in the last number of years, and that it wasn't compensated for properly. And so to understand what clinical administration is, it could be, for example, that a family doctor needs to refer you for knee surgery. but they want to make sure that they want to refer you to a surgeon that specializes in the problem that you have.
Under the new agreement called FHO Plus, doctors would be able to bill for tasks such as doing patients' charts, time spent reviewing test results, and filling out various forms. But will more money for doctors mean more doctors for the 2 million Ontario residents currently without primary care? Moran says of the 15,000 Ontario physicians trained in family medicine, only 9,000 currently work full-time in their specialty. The rest work in areas like emergency medicine.
The government is working on a number of initiatives that will help retain and attract family doctors.
Health Minister Sylvia Jones refused to reveal any more details about the deal with the OMA.
What I will tell you is that we have seen some very positive movement in terms of working with the OMA and other partners to make sure that as we expand our primary care opportunities, the physicians are well respected and get appropriate compensation for that.
There's just a couple of remaining items that the arbitration board is going to decide on, and we're expecting to hear back from them in the fall.
Moran hopes the new deal will encourage more student doctors to choose family practice as their specialty. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A new study suggests kids and young adults who spend too much time staring at screens have a greater chance of developing cardiovascular diseases. Danish researchers tracked the screen and sleep habits of more than 1,000 10 and 18-year-olds. They found those who spent excessive hours in front of electronic devices were at higher risk for health issues such as high blood pressure and high cholesterol, as well as diabetes and insulin resistance. Their analysis found that each additional hour of daily screen time increase the risk of disease. Big news to share with you out of the DC movie universe after the success of Superman. The relaunch of the superhero franchise has already brought in more than $315 million U.S. across North America. And today, Variety reports it's been confirmed director James Gunn will be back to direct the next film in the so-called Super Family. That news was revealed in a Warner Brothers Discovery earnings call. Previously, it had only been confirmed Gunn was going to write the next movie, although it's still not clear what that project will be. Kelly Clarkson has announced she's pushing back several dates of her Las Vegas residency. The American Idol winner has been performing her studio session shows at Caesars Palace after a delayed opening last month. She wrote on social media last night, the remaining shows in August won't be going ahead as the father of her children deals with an illness. She says she wants to be fully present for them. Her next performances are set for November. Well, The Weeknd will return to the stage at Rogers Centre tonight. The Scarborough R&B singer will perform 2 more shows in the city tonight and tomorrow. He was welcomed home earlier this month for back-to-back performances. The After Hours Till Dawn tour marks the last time the artist, Abel Tesfaye, plans to perform as The Weeknd, even as he holds on to the title of Spotify's most streamed song ever with his track Blinding Lights. It's been streamed nearly 5 billion times. Taylor Swift is catching up to The Weeknd, though. Her hit Cruel Summer has just passed 3 billion streams on Spotify. The song was from her 2019 album Lover, but wasn't released as a single until 2023. Despite the track's popularity, the pop superstar still hasn't released a music video for it. Still to come on CTV News at noon, major changes coming to one of Canada's most popular loyalty programs. Starting in the new year, Aeroplan members will earn points in a different way. We'll explain. There are about 9 million Aeroplan members in Canada, and if you are one of them, you should know changes are coming to how you earn rewards. Aeroplan announced starting in the new year, members will earn points based on dollars spent rather than distance flown. CTV's Pat Foran has this consumer alert.
Starting on January 1st, Aeroplan will overhaul the way its members earn points, and the biggest change means you'll earn based on how much you spend instead of how far you go. Phil McCauley is a frequent flyer and has been an Aeroplan member for the past 20 years. He's concerned business travelers buying more expensive tickets will see the greatest benefits.
But it absolutely benefits people who travel on the max fare class. So people who fly business everywhere are disproportionately benefiting from this program than people who travel, let's say, like a lower fare class.
The majority of our members are going to be better off than they were before.
Air Canada says the changes to the loyalty program will benefit those who engage with the airline and its partners the most. Starting in the new year, you'll earn 1 Aeroplan point per dollar spent. In 2 examples on Air Canada's website, it states if you book a flight between Toronto and Montreal with a base fare of $427, you'll earn 427 Aeroplan points. In another example, if you booked a round trip from Montreal to Paris and the base fare is $1,500, under the current plan you would receive almost 7,000 points, but under the new plan you'll receive 1,500 Aeroplan points. The more you pay, the more points you'll get.
It can't be seen as a positive, but it can't be seen as negative either. It really comes down to the individual, whether these changes are good for you or not.
Rewards Canada, a website that studies loyalty programs, says those who pay more for expensive flights will achieve elite status faster and rack up more points than those who are searching for bargains.
The more you spend with the airline, the more you're going to be rewarded, whether it's elite status or with points earning as well.
The changes are also more in line with other airlines that have also moved to revenue-based models.
That report from our Pat Foran. Toronto police have launched a new way to get in touch about issues that don't merit a call to 911. It is a new 3-digit number that directly routes callers to the non-emergency line. People using wireless devices can dial star TPS. That is star 877 to access the service. Anyone using a landline phone or facing issues getting through can still dial the full number, 416-808-2222. Toronto police say they implemented the new 3-digit code in response to a recommendation from the city's Auditor General to raise awareness of phone services other than 911 that are available. Police also issued a reminder today they will automatically text back any wireless device that calls 911 but disconnects before connecting with a call taker. It will ask those callers to text back with a 1 if they are actually facing an emergency and a 9 if they are not. While other text messages to 911 still aren't supported, police say this step will help clear the queue and more quickly connect callers in need to 911 operators. To sports, the Jays are off today after completing a sweep of the Rockies in dramatic fashion.
Yes, in theory, Warren Schaefer could. I don't know if he wants to, as Schneider hits it high in the air, deep center field, back to the wall. It is gone.
David Schneider hitting 2 home runs in the 20-1 rout of Colorado yesterday afternoon. Toronto outscoring Colorado 45-6 during the 3-game series, posting 63 total hits. The Blue Jays began a 3-game series with the Dodgers tomorrow. Well, there's still a lot of summer left to enjoy, but we're just over a week away from the start of a late season tradition, the Canadian National Exhibition. Metrolinx is advising anyone heading to the CNE it's going to be boosting service on the Lakeshore West Line on weekday evenings and throughout the day on weekends. Additional trains will also run on the Lakeshore East, Milton, Barrie and Stouffville lines to accommodate people attending the X. Transit officials say it's a good idea for riders to plan their trips in advance. Coming up on CTV News, the artist formerly known as Machine Gun Kelly was in town yesterday meeting fans. We'll have details on the turnout after the break. MGK, also known as Machine Gun Kelly, took the stage at the Horseshoe Tavern last night after spending part of his afternoon meeting fans in Mississauga. CTV's Andrea Case was there for the meet and greet.
The artist formerly known as Machine Gun Kelly, now MGK, arrived at Square One Mall's newly opened Sunrise Record Store for a meet and greet. And fans like Ottawa's Cameron Hurlbut could barely contain themselves.
I'm seeing a lot of tears. Are you okay right now?
I'm very excited that I met him.
Great
to meet you. Oh my God!
This is the only in-store appearance in Canada, just days before the rapper, punk pop musician released his 7th album called Lost Americana.
like a newer fan, but like I love his music. He's like a big inspiration to me. So
mind-blowing because he's one of the best artists around. He's one of the best people. Like, who else does this for their fans?
Is this a future fan of MGK?
Yes, it is. She's been listening to his music while she's been in the womb.
Lost Americana will be released on Friday. Andrea Case, CTV News.
Oh, that's so fun. I felt so happy for all those fans.
It's that reaction, right?
Yeah.
Of just meeting, one of your heroes or someone that you really, really enjoy. If you're going to anything tonight, whether it's a show outside, I know there's plays that happen in High Park that are really, really fun. You have to think about hydrating because it is hot as we head throughout the day today. Yes, very seasonal, but the heat really increases as we head in towards the end of the week. That jet stream is going to continue to rise. We have warm air from the south, and we're getting back into what is likely heat warning criteria. We're not looking at much in the way of any active weather today. Maybe a pop-up shower into the mid-afternoon tomorrow, but even then, it is brief. We're looking at 25 right now, feeling like 30. We're in the mid-20s for the most part right across southern Ontario, and a fairly moderate southerly wind as we head throughout the day today. If you're going out to an evening patio, still really warm as we head in towards that early part of our night. And over the next few days, Michelle, it only gets hotter.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jess. And that is it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long at CP24 and our website, ctvnewstoronto.ca. And for Jessica Smith and the whole team here at CTV News, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé. We hope to see you over CTV News at 5 and 6.